Oh, damn, we were starting. Oh, shit, okay.
That we is.
Oh, okay.
Let's get it started.
Yeah, let's get it.
Mm.
Yeah.
You gonna rap? What you want to do? Feel like rapping?
What that joint that you was just playing with before we got on here?
Oh shit! What did I just call that shit?
Whackness.
This ninja is adorable.
Yeah.
I love it. Come on, give me your heat. Give me everything you got, please.
That's all right.
Uh-huh.
I ain't come over here to that.
We can do that, or we can give him what we were just working on.
I ain't come here to give you all that attention.
I forgot what the hell I literally just wrote something and I totally forgot what I called it.
We wrote something that was for the podcast.
Ooh, we can do that.
And
Rapping. We can do that.
oh, okay.
Wanna? Or you want to go back to that smoke shit?
We can hit him with. Let's introduce him to the what we about to be giving him. Forget it. Let's do it.
All right, cool.
Let's give it to him.
Where that fat pussy at?
Yeah.
There she is. Hold on, do I already have it on here? I do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to load a song that's already in the damn
Let's go.
MG.
One more time.
See this?
See, this that smooth taste for y'all ears. So I'm gonna give y'all the hook
Buddy.
first before I tell y'all what it's about. Black Madonna. Yeah, check it. You can take the mask off, baby. Introduce me to whatever's true to you. I'm a man of action, lady. Interviews are cool. Girl, I'm new to you. I know that it might sound crazy, but me and you can choose to sort of break the rules. And do it with the lights on, baby. If it's cool with you, we can cruise it smooth. See, look here. I'm talking about making love with the lights on. And what I'm really trying to say is that when we first meet each other, let it all hang out, baby. All your insecurities, all your fears and doubts. Don't put up that front like you all tough and ready for that smoke. When deep down inside, you're a wounded animal. You just need a little love, a little TLC. See, I see they want to laugh at me.
I can't. Oh God.
But y'all gonna be expecting that one right there.
You lost me at wounded animal.
Yo, as soon as I heard the voice, I knew what it was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be.
See, he knew I was getting inside my bag right there.
Oh God.
But y'all can expect that one on the Black Madonna album that we are working on right now, and I can't wait to give y'all that. And what's beautiful about it is that I have the nucleus of this brand, of this movement with me tonight. The big three, the three initiates. Your boy Dontez, your boy E-Brag,
What up though?
your boy Kendall.
Aye.
We out here. And as always, welcome to the Holy Ratchet podcast. And the man that we have here with us today, he works in the background. He comes out and shows his face too. He has a podcast going on as well. But I'd rather him tell y'all what he got going on. Kendall, go ahead and break it down to the good people. Who he is and how you do it.
I mean, I usually work in the background, like you said, right? So me sitting in front of cameras and then mics is pretty daggone awkward for me, you know. I'm usually the guy back there pushing buttons and turning knobs and stuff, so it's all good, though. But you know, I'm the engineer for the Black Madonna project, as well as I was for the Holy Ratchet and all that stuff there, you know. Making sure
Desires,
everything
by the
sounds
way.
good. Oh, Desires too, yeah, and a bunch of one-offs,
Yeah,
right?
sure that.
So, you know, they use me for, I guess, my engineering expertise, and how I met these guys is in separate, different ways, but I was their teacher, you know, teaching them some of this stuff.
Still is.
I like the word instructor, but
Yeah,
it's cool.
It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's how I met these guys, and I still teach, and what it all comes down to it, as well as me mixing music and producing every once in a while, which I know you want to go ahead and jump in and be like, you don't produce no more, but I still do.
Nah, he's still nice with it.
I
Don't sleep. Don't sleep, y'all.
I produce a couple of other podcasts, with a group of guys called the Pull Up Podcast, which you can catch on any.
Pull up?
Yeah, Pull Up, right? Catch on any platform that you watch your podcast, as well as another podcast called Girl, Let Me Tell You, which is, we call them Glimity, so.
What?
Yeah.
You gotta explain that. Glimity? What does that mean?
It's just.
That's something you drink?
It's just the acronym of Girl, Let Me Tell You.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We just being silly, so we are like Glimity.
Oh, this ninja fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So those are the two podcasts that I produce, and I'm just honored to be here today.
Yeah, and this podcast, Holy Ratchet, was brought to you by Orlando Creative Compound, which is ran by my boy Jeff, who is producing this podcast for us. The man with many hands. I mean, he's in a lot of things, man. If you want to get anything going on, you holler at Jeff. I'm quite sure he can point you in the right direction, for sure. So with that being said, I really want to go into with Kendall, like what brought you to music, man? Like what was your first interaction with music and with the industry that made you fall in love with it?
I wouldn't say I fell in love with the industry at first, but my dad dabbled with music production as I was growing up, and he always had drum machines, keyboards, microphones, and stuff around. And man, I don't know what it was about that stuff that just really just had me enamored with it. Every time he just pulled it out, every time he played a tape or something that he recorded, I was like, oh yeah, I just got to listen to it, right? And I remember this one day, I think it was like the late 80s, we went into a music store, and it was like a 4-track recorder that he wanted, and he was like, I need that right there. And I was like, Dad, what is that? And he was like, it's a recorder, it's a 4-track recorder. I was like, I couldn't wrap my mind around what a 4-track recorder was. I was like, but you already record. And he was like, yeah, but I can record separate tracks, and it just didn't click. Long story short, he finally bought it, and one day he's playing one of his tapes with him, playing the keyboard and singing and stuff, and I'm listening to the tape, and I'm like, well, it sounds like any other recording he ever did before, And then I hear this guy harmonizing with him. And I was like, Dad, who was that? He was like, that's me. I was like, no, the other guy's singing with you. He's like, that's me. And the whole concept of the 4-track recorder just clicked in my head, and I've been obsessed with it ever since. Just making audio, manipulating, different things like that. So just opened my ears and my mind, and I've just been all over it ever since.
And what's crazy about the reason I feel so good about him sharing that with me, because to know how much he is into audio production and all that stuff, and to see the roots of it and what got him into it, and to see how his father passed it to him, it's such an amazing thing to see him doing the same thing with his child. Yeah. Like his son is like on his hip, like in the studio with him, and it's like it's the same thing that his love for the music that he got from his father, that being around his father, he's doing the same thing for his child.
Absolutely. That kid will not let me walk in my own home studio without him in there with me. He just go nuts. And he ain't up but 19 months old. It's just crazy. So I'm happy about training the next generation here,
Well, you've been training the next generations for a while, actually. So
yeah, but I've been training other people's kids, and
that part,
which is nothing wrong with that, right? Because it was my fulfillment. I had a kid late in life. I didn't think I was gonna have no kids, so I was very fulfilled in training the next generation. And and a lot of people ask me all the time, why do you teach? Why do you like teaching this? Because some of my coworkers, it's just a job to them. But why do you like do it? Because I remember trying to learn how to do this stuff, and I had to hustle for the information, mainly because I couldn't get to a school at the time while I was in the service. And I was like, well, why sit around and wait till I get out to start learning this stuff? I just started buying books, reading, trying, doing. And I remember how many times I said to myself, I wish I had somebody who could show me this stuff to give me confirmation that I'm doing it right. So when I go into a classroom and start working with students, I'm trying to be what I didn't have.
Mm. Yeah, it translates too. Yeah. It definitely translates. I mean, I like to say that true teachers it's a calling. Something that's already in them.
Gotcha.
Like anybody can train. Mm-hmm. I consider myself a trainer. I don't have no problem instructing you, showing you how to do something. Mm-hmm. But being a teacher is something different. Totally. It's something that's in you.
It's a different energy you have to ride on, right? Because I always say it like this: the different energy you have to ride on is because a lot of people like to go the path of the least resistance. They don't want to dabble too hard because they don't want to fail or anything like that. Not knowing that failure is the best teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what kills me sometimes is that a lot of my students, they're just like, they complain about every little thing. Y'all should have gave us this, and y'all should have gave us that, and y'all should have did this, and y'all should have did that. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense for the student to teach the teacher how they should be teaching them. And that I'm trying to make you adjustable, right? And what happens is sometimes is that I get 20 students that's just bashing me because they didn't have a good experience in the class, right? And all I need is that one student to say, man, this dude was the greatest instructor I ever had, and it just totally blows all the other 20 away.
And I want to share my experience with Kendall that I can tell you guys that makes him a great instructor. And I'm quite sure that there's some young artist right now who's just getting his Pro Tools or Logic Pro or Reasons, whatever you're playing in, and you probably experience this too. When I first started playing with Pro Tools, I had no clue what I was doing, but it was the easiest when I didn't know what I was doing. It's like I couldn't go wrong. I just knew how to mix it because I was mixing it by ear. I didn't have the technical terms and all that stuff. But as soon as I went to school and started to figure out, this is an EQ and how to really use the EQ is when I started running into problems because I started taking away the creative spin on mixing and was thinking too technical. So I couldn't get it the way I used to because I took the creativity out of it. And when I got to Kendall inside of his class, which was vocal production at the time, I think it was vocal. It was vocal production at the time. And I remember being in one of the labs and I asked him, I was like, man, I don't know what it is, man, but I just can't get this mix right. And he said, look here, man, it's no such thing as a good mix. He was like, there's no such thing as a good mix. He was like, it's all subjective. It's like, because you might mix this song this way and it fits this thing. He said, no, there's such thing as a clean mix and all these different things. But as far as a good mix, it's all about what that crowd or what that person is looking for. Because I might look at that's nasty, but it might fit with what you're trying to do. So that kind of helped me get back into my, I do have to mix this from the way I did it. But what this did was this helped me build my relationship with him because not even knowing that in the future he was going to be my engineer, it helped me to prepare my tracks for him before they get to him because I know what I'm looking for, the sound I'm looking for. So now if I'm preparing a track and I'm tracking it out, I can put textures and ideas and play with EQs or different things. So by the time it get to him, he's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then he can do that.
It's a real good point.
Factual.
Real good point, yeah. Sometimes I forget some of the stuff I say to students, and I always get somebody coming back and telling me, you remember when you said this? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use it again. It worked.
Yeah.
But with Kendall, me and Brad share a similar introduction to how he can be ruthless too. Because but I understand because when you in our industry definitely coming through Full Sail, do you know how many students come up to him yeah, man, I'm the next producer. I'm about to be the next Dr. Dre, or I'm about to be the next Kanye West, or this and that. So he has to hear this over and over and over and over and over. So how many times do you think the people, that stuff they give to him be actually dope? So when me and my boy Tank, this is when me and my boy Tank was running hip to hip, making music together. And it was so hard for us to even get him to listen to our music, man. He would just keep doing it nah, I'm good. I'm good. Then it took for his boy Dave to give us the vouch.
Shout out to Dave.
Shout out to Dave.
Because Tank went in there and just freestyled for 10 minutes straight for one. And then he heard me doing one of my tracks. He was like, nah, you kids is actually dope. So it took for him to co-sign us. So by the time we got there, when it got to Kendall, then Kendall okay, let me see what these kids got, and he was just I knew he's I want to work with these kids, but Full Sail has their things where the student can't work with the instructor. So we waited until all of that was over with, and then we was able. And I was like, man, and still then I didn't know that it was time to work. That I would eventually be working with Kendall, but this guy was the glue to all of that because we both built relationships with Kendall in our own separate times. You know what I'm saying? But what was your introduction to Mr. Kendall?
That's funny.
Oh, you laughing already?
Yeah.
All right, so very similar to what you said as far as how he constantly gets bombarded. I'm typically just like this. If I'm not with an MPC, I got a laptop or something. I'm always making something somewhere with something. And I was in his class, and I was like, "Hey, man, hey, you want to hear what I'm working with?" He respectfully looked me in my eye. I was like, "No," and kept it moving. So I think I tried him maybe like 2 or 3 different times after that. Yo, man, you want to check this out? Because we had very good conversation, good rapport before, but he was not interested in hearing anything. And then, just like you said, man, it kind of clicked on me. I'm like, yo, how many times does he get this? I was like, man, we fall back completely. And I totally stopped even trying to send you music or let you hear music. He first heard my music when he started mixing it. That was the very first time he started hearing it. It's like, who made the beat? Who made this music? Like, oh, snap. You? I was like, yeah, bro, I was trying to show you something, but I totally get it. It's I kind of equate it to like a girl that gets hit on.
I'm gonna give you both of y'all's story from my point of view, right?
Sure.
All right. So, from my point of view, when I met you, I had just started at Full Sail. Like I had only been there for probably less than a year.
Oh, word.
So Dave was somebody I worked real close with, but I was also teaching at another school, so I was getting it from both ends. Everybody, play this for me. You want to hear my stuff? And I'm like, okay, cool. But it wasn't just Dave. It was Dave, because I used to say to Dave, man, you listen to anybody's stuff. You know what I'm saying? He just listen to everybody's stuff. It was more Dave and his homeboy, Dustin.
Oh, yeah, Dustin, too, yeah.
It was Dustin, because Dustin was no. I ain't listening to nobody's stuff, no nothing. But when Dustin came up to me and was like, they go hard. And there was another guy in y'all's class that it was a white guy. He bought his acoustic guitar one day.
Yeah.
And he just started I don't know what happened. Our computers went down. We was just chilling. It was me and Dustin, and he just started playing the guitar, playing, I think, Thug Man, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. And Tank just started freestyling to it. And he just kept freestyling. So I started paying attention to Tank, and then Tank played me something where you were singing a hook, and then you were rapping. I was like, who was that? And then I think I gave y'all a beat.
Yeah.
And then y'all came back with something. I was like, okay. And we've been tight ever since. And then I think later on down the line, Miles came through my class. Now, I think you had graduated by then.
Yep.
And Miles came through vocal production, and he was telling me that he was working with you, and he wanted me to mix some of the songs. So he came to play the songs. And that's how I started working with you. And by then, he came through as a student. And I wouldn't listen to anything he said. And I think you were walking on campus one day, because I think you was on campus, like, getting your master's.
Get my master's, yep.
And you ran into me. He's like, hey, Brad? I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. I totally forgot dudes. Because we used to joke on each other while he was in my class all the time. He would call me Ice Cube, and I would call him Sleepy Brown. And I think you pulled out a phone. He's like, yeah, I'm making music with this dude. I was like, that dude? I was like, nah. And I was like, oh, well, I got to hear what he got now. You know what I'm saying? Because it was you. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was funny. It was a really funny situation that I was like, you making music with that dude?
Oh, God.
What's crazy is I still remember the hook to the beat that Kendall gave us. It was like, everything is on me. Night full of adventures, girl, you owe me. Girl, once you get inside, we can take this ride to the other side. Make this a moment to remember.
That's the name of the beat. The beat was called
Moment to Remember. That's why I wrote it like that. Had his little homies. Everything is on me. Oh. I had to juice it up. And me and my boy Tank was in there rapping all smooth. That was the first track we did on that joint.
We got on one of y'all's cars while y'all played it for somebody had a Honda Accord or something. I think it was Tank.
Yeah, it was Tank. Yep.
Or Altima. I don't know what it was. Something like that.
And what's crazy is whenever they do a movie about the movement and all that, they have to put this scene in there. They, me, and Tank first met.
For real. We
was in the classroom. It was Mike Theory. I think it's like one of the first classes that you get when you get to Full Sail. And
is that Ed's class?
I don't even think they had Mike Theory by the time you came through. I think they had got rid of it. But then they brought it. I think it became RPR or something like that. Recording principle, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, but we was in the classroom. I was with my producer at the time, which was Traxor Taylor, my boy Taylor, and he was with his producer, which was Snacko. Shout out to Taylor, man. And then he was with Snacko. That was his producer, right? Both our producers happen to be from Atlanta, you know, and both of us happen to be from the Midwest. And somebody just out of nowhere got the beating on the desk, making the beat. Me and Tank locked eyes, didn't know each other from anywhere. He gets to freestyling. He passed me the baton. I'm freestyling. I'm talking about for like 15 minutes straight. Me and him just going back and forth in the classroom. The whole class geek. Like it got to the point the instructor came in because he was like about to run the class. We was going. He just sat down, and me and Tank were just going back to back. Nobody else hopped in. It was just me and Tank just going back and back. You know. And like I remember this look he gave me. It was like because Tank is like a pit bull. So when he was looking at you rapping, like he give you like that real aggressive like. And I'm like, this dude, he ain't gonna stop. So I gotta keep like we gotta keep going, you know. And it finally stopped when the instructor was just like, all right, we gotta start the class. And that's the day we first met. And we right at that break we hooked up, started talking. That's when Snacko and Taylor got cool. And right after class, we went straight to the studio and made like 2 or 3 songs that quick. And it just started our bond right there. We just was working.
That's about over a decade ago. About a decade ago.
Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
Memories are timeless. It kind of reminds me of I'm about to date myself real quick, but everybody out there, Google a TV show called Fame. All right.
I remember Fame.
That was basically kind of what he described, but also that was the kind of the culture in like good classes in Full Sail. Because if you had a good
the performance arts school,
exactly. So like if you
got a song,
like if you guys are in your zone or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, like the instructor will just let you keep going because you're being creative.
First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and put a disclaimer in that it ain't like that no more. The pandemic really, the pandemic really changed things. And now we're slowly getting back there, but we kind of got, you know, the students are kind of zombies right now. They don't know how to act on campus around each other right now. So
CV-19 even killed the spirit in Full Sail.
Oh man,
I'm just saying, I'm trying to get some people to bring the spirit back. You know,
because in my day, man, we networked, we talked to each other because we understood. I understood early the importance of Full Sail. Like it was all about networking because a lot of the things that you learn there, you can really learn on your own, you know, or you can just learn by experience or growing it. But what you're really there for is to meet people that can do things that you really can't do, and that can get you guys in places where maybe you by yourself can't do it, but y'all two together can get there because of the resources.
And that's including the instructors too, because most of them will reach out and help you and do some things, you know what I'm saying? And just to piggyback on what I was saying to you guys before, me not necessarily wanting to listen to y'all music is not what I was really doing.
He's a diva.
No. I was going to see who was hungry enough to stay in my face. You understand what I'm saying? You were close. You was like one more ask away.
I'm a fat boy. I ain't that hungry though.
You was one more ask away that I was going to be like, all right, bro. Because, you know, some of them just really walk away really quickly and never come back at you. Like Miles. There's a reason why I listen to Miles. There's a reason why I listen to your stuff. Because y'all just kept coming at me in different creative ways. You know what I'm saying? You were close. You were really close.
Yeah.
Because you started with the jokes.
I did, but yeah, I gave up. I put it like this, man. I'm more of I knew that I was making good music, so it would eventually get to the right ears eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of my things out to everybody out there. If you're making something, just put it out there. It eventually will find its home. It'll find the right crowd.
And I'm glad that he brought that up. I'm glad that he said that because this is something I wanted to touch on today that I wanted to build with my brothers with and make it an open conversation so that you guys can see it and y'all can input as well. Because when you're an independent artist and you're doing your best to break inside of the game, it's very easy to get stuck in like this local D-League mentality of like, okay, if I make it, you know, but it's making that mental shift to like when I make it and start to maneuver as a person who knows it's going to happen rather than a person who thinks it might happen. Because when you have this mentality of thinking that it might happen, it keeps you small. It keeps you in like a comfort zone, and it makes you not even be able to see yourself on that big stage. So you be happy with doing. There's nothing wrong with doing a little open mics. So you just be happy to get out there once in a while, get your little open mic experience, or get your song played by your favorite DJ in the club or your homeboy that's a DJ in the club. But what does it take to get to that next level is what Kendall's talking about, that hunger to continue to come to your art and your craft in a new creative way. Be willing to go back to the drawing board and say, damn, maybe I need to change some things. And to be working with these guys, and they know we've been working on our sound for years together, to the point where, you know, we always thinking about developing the sound more, whether it's just the way we do it creatively or the way we do it sonically as well. And we try to think of ways that we can do that. And I noticed even for myself at times, I've gotten, you know, inside of a comfort zone, like, you know, you there when you do this. If art is what you love to do and the music is what we really say we love to do, it should be your main plan. It should be your main plan. But when you talking about art, but when you talk about your life in the direction and planning, you planning something totally different. You got to realign those things. Like you talking about your artists and all these different things, how you want to build a business, but you setting yourself up for the next year for a job that you don't even really love, but that's the main focus with that when it comes to how you actually planning your life. You know, there's nothing wrong with having that because that's what it is right now, but your main focus should be what you trying to build as your end game, you know, because this is just the now, you know what I mean, what you're working with right now. Because if you plan for that little small job that I work at fucking Staples right now, but you plan on being there and how you gonna file your taxes and doing all this stuff in a year, I'm gonna do all of this. That's how your life is going to project too. That's how you're gonna land. But you say, look here, I'm working at Staples right now, but I know that by next year, if I come out with this plan, I could be opening up for Jay-Z, or if we got that, he can be in the crowd watching me because I'm that dope. You know, it's like changing them little small mental shifts, you know. And I just want to get you guys view from y'all experience of dealing with it.
Absolutely, I got plenty on that. All right, so remember I told you about my dad making music growing up, right? And I used to always ask my dad, you know, what are you gonna do? How far are you gonna go at this? And he was like, oh, it's just a hobby. And then he went to go work in the plant. You know what I'm saying? And he worked at that plant for 40 years, right? Anytime I ever mentioned, hey, I come work with you, he was like, no, you're not. You understand what I'm saying? So I get what it means, right? Because there was a time frame in my life where I fell away from the music. It wasn't like I went straight from my dad and went deep into the music. It was like I was still trying to find myself. So I joined the military, and it came back to me. Somebody found me, you know, just doing something. I used to play drums in high school, so I'm sitting there beating on a drum pad, and this guy that I was in the service with came in the room. He's like, dude, I think you can make beats for me. Just dropped off a drum machine with me, said I'd come back and get it on Monday. Left a drum machine with me for a weekend and came back, and he had 4 bangers in there, you know? And it was like it all came back. Everything I learned with my pops, everything I learned playing drums, everything, all that stuff that I wanted to do, and then I was back at it again. And it took and I'd probably say probably the best thing my ex-wife ever told me was, you got to stop looking at this as a hobby. If that's what you want to do, that's what you should do. And then I just got focused. So it put me on this mantra to believe that, you know, making it in the industry is nothing more than talent meeting opportunity. All right. The opportunity is the one thing you can't control. The talent is what you can control. Right. So I can keep working on me until the opportunity comes. And if the opportunity never comes, I'll be comfortable going to my grave knowing that I did everything I could to do so. Ain't nobody in the industry or outside of the industry can tell me I ain't got talent. I know I have what it takes to make industry level or quality music. And that's what I intend to do. That's why I like working with people who are not necessarily industry yet.
Big facts.
Because I think everybody deserves to have their music sound a certain way sonically. That's what I believe. Everybody should have that ability to be able to look at somebody and say, can you get me to sound like this? Yes, I can. I feel like I'm in competition with the industry. That's the way I look at it.
Y'all won't notice.
And you know what's crazy is from him saying that this is what I look like. This is what I really enjoy about building with these brothers, because he said something very key here, you know, about making it in the industry. The beautiful thing I get to be able to work with these two brothers is that we get to define what making it is for us, you know? And I think that all of us need to start to define what making it is to you, because making it in the industry to me is going to be different than what it is to you, because you might be asking for a level of making it that they ain't really for you, that you find out too late. So it's really about learning like what is making it for you. And when you understand what that is, what that means for you, and because nobody thinks about like the level of privacy that you might want to have with your personal family.
Nice.
You know?
That's a really good point.
That's a really good point, right?
Really good point.
I mean, if anybody want to expound on that one, you know, like, because I know I'm a person that I'm still going to cherish being able to have those private moments with my family, with my children, and do things.
I would love to still, you know, I would love to have, let's put it this way, I would love to look at a trophy wall and see Grammys, but still be able to walk the streets, go to the mall, go out to a restaurant without anybody, you know, crowding me. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have it and you don't know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You heard of my name, but you can't put the face with it. Cool. That's cool for me.
And my definition for that is like I'm in the same boat. Like I would like to have like the accolades and all that, but when I come out in the world, I'm not greeted like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I'm greeted like a person, like a spirit, like this guy's beyond rap. Like he's doing so many things to influence the world. So like I don't get approached like a rapper would, because when I don't carry myself like what most people would call a rapper is anyway. Like I'm not a person that's into jewelry and all that stuff like that. Like if anything I got on me, it means something, you know? So like when I go out to people, it's like, okay, yes, I have this fame. I have this, you know, people know who I am, but the way I'm approached is totally different than you would approach like a rapper, you know?
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Totally get that.
Man, my story is very similar to Kendall's. As far as, well, all three of us have a military background. We all have a very, very similar story in that aspect. But as far as, I didn't have anybody drop off anything for me, but I did stop doing what I wanted to do in pursuit of another goal. You know what I mean? I wound up having a child early. So I had to make a decision to you know, be a man and be a dad. So that led me going into the military, but I always kept the music with me. Yeah. Took my turntables, you know what I mean? Wound up buying more turntables, collecting a huge record collection, and wound up DJing on at least 4 different continents. You know what I'm saying? So the music was always there, but it was always, how my kids would say this, you would spend 12 hours a shift, probably like 15 to 16 hours a day at work. You know what I mean? Because you know how it goes. You'll do your shift, and then you got everything else that had to get done. So it'll be like a 12-hour day want to turn into a 15-hour day. So I'll do 15 hours, come home, and still immediately start chopping up beats, making music and whatnot until literally about 3 hours before it's time to go to work, take a nap, shower, get right back to it. You know what I'm saying? And I did this for over a decade. So, you know, my kids were my inspiration to actually this whole thing, because they told me if I always told them to not just chase your dreams, but follow your passion. Because if you are doing what's in your heart, then I promise you, success, money, all the good things are going to come.
All that comes.
You know what I'm saying? And they're the ones that threw it back at me. That's the thing about kids, man. You wind up telling them stuff and they wind up using it back on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why we came back and I went to Full Sail, because it was always a dream of mine. I used to read that Source magazine.
You turn to the back and see them ads.
You see Winter Park at the bottom. You see this dude that looked like a fake little skinny LeBron James on the daggone SSL board. Yo, I'm dead ass. Yo, I still got my old Source magazines. I'm gonna pull that joint out. I'm gonna show you. Look like a fake LeBron.
That's funny that you say that, because it's like, you know, and to anybody that's watching this, it's like, if you have a path, find a way to get back to it. There's plenty of things that's going to knock you off the path. Trust that. But if you give up the first time you get knocked off the path, man, then that may not have been the path for you. If you are pursuing a passion, you're going to always get back on path. For instance, here's my story, right? My plan was to get out after 4 years in the military and go to Full Sail. right? And go to Full Sail, right? So I ended up getting married, all kinds of crazy stuff. Ended up re-enlisting. Did not go to Full Sail, bro. Did not go to Full Sail. In fact, I got out 4 years after that and started inspecting cars and all this stuff. They're still making music, still doing my thing, right? Constantly producing, right? Up in the DC area. And then I remember I found a transfer that got me down to Orlando. I'm probably going to go to Full Sail, right? Came down here, did not go to Full Sail. My situations in that marriage was just really weird and everything. Ended up going to Valencia College. And they had a recording arts program and everything. Mind you, I have been teaching myself this stuff for over a decade, so go there, get a little thing there. I think I got a job with Native Instruments. Shortly after, did a lot of freelance work, and so I was a product rep for Native Instruments for a few years. And then Valencia asked me to come teach. Went to teach there, and then I applied for a job at Full Sail. And there it is, right? Everything full circle, back again. And I actually didn't become a student of Full Sail to get a degree, until I had worked there for about 6 years. And I was like, I'm going to go get another degree. So,
wow. It's funny you said something about a path. My grandma used to say, if you put a child on a path, it soon shall not depart from it. You know what I mean? So kind of what you said as far as if it's really your path, it will be your path.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can always take a detour, but you will find your way right back to it because that's where you started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's your journey you're supposed to be on. So
let me tell y'all my detour from Full Sail. I got out the military. I was stationed in Japan, and when I got out the military, man, I went straight back to the hood. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I can talk about this because it's past 7 years, and I got straight back in the streets.
Past 7 years.
Yeah. So I got back in the streets,
statute of limitation.
Yeah, statute of limitation. I got straight back in the streets, and I was getting to it. I'm talking about I was on the highway 2 or 3 times to go and pick up packs and serving them, and like I was getting money. But my goal was to get out of the military to come to Full Sail and go to school. But when I got back home and I took a little change that I had from there and started flipping it and started, getting money, I'm like, man, I'm not about to go to school. Like, forget this. So what happened was on one of those trips, I had it all planned out because I still was on terminal leave, and I would go on these trips with my Navy jumpsuit on, and I had my uniform inside the window. And like my stickers on like I feel like my little Navy veteran stickers on the rental just to keep the cops off of me. But this specific time, the cops actually pulled us over, and my boy at the time smoked us. He had hit the blunt while I was asleep, which was a no-go. Like you don't give him no probable cause to get in his car. But he was like one of them, because I didn't smoke, you know what I'm saying? And I still don't smoke weed. And he hit the blunt just because he's like, man, it's a long drive. I wanted to need something to calm my nerves. But that was enough to get the cop inside of the car. And we had, I ain't gonna tell you how many pounds. It was a lot of pounds of weed in the car. And I instantly, when he got in the trunk and all of that, I just knew, like, man, I'm about to go to jail. I'm already planning, like, man, I'm about to grow my hair out. Because I ain't about to, whatever happens, happens. So.
You played it.
Yeah. This dude made hair decisions.
Yeah, I'm like, because I'm already shipping my mind, like, because what I'm doing, I ain't about to tell on nobody. I'm about to just take this. I'm like, I'm ready to sit down at this point. Like, it is what it is.
Time for Jack Mack and dreadlocks.
But I think what saved us was that the cop himself, he was a military veteran, and he was like, when he got me in the car and he seemed like I just was like I wasn't going for. He like, man, you on terminal leave. Like, man, what happens if your command, like, you still, like, you get in there, they can really ring you because you still in the military technically and all this. So I'm just like, I'm kind of giving him the vibe, like, man, do what you got to do, man. Like, we here. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying? So, long story short, he ended up just basically robbing us and throwing it back in the streets. Well, I found out later, but I promised for like 2 or 3 years I was afraid. I was in Full Sail because that what made me go back to Full Sail because I only had like $1,000 left after that. So I went to New York. Supposed to be doing this show that Puffy was doing in upstate New York, but a hurricane came through and hit it or something. So that's how I met my boy G-High. Shout out to my boy G-High. So everything happened for a reason because that's my brother. And I decided I ain't got no choice but to go to Full Sail now because I ain't got no money. I got to start from scratch from here. I don't really trust the people I'm around now because they telling stories. So So I need to get to Florida. So that's what made me get here. Like I was getting all the way off the course, and the universe was like, nah, bro, you need to go down there and do what you're supposed to be doing. And that's what landed me here. But I promise you, I was in class like the first 2 years thinking that the feds was gonna come in there and just snatch me out of class and then come indict me. But it never happened.
You was like, you was like that. What was that movie with Danny DeVito where he was like training those army guys? You know what I'm talking about? God, you remember he was teaching Shakespeare to those army dudes.
No.
Renaissance Man. Y'all ain't never seen that movie?
Isn't that Denzel Washington?
No. Renaissance Man. Danny DeVito and Gregory Hines. He played a drill sergeant. Anyway, there was one dude that was hiding out in class. You know, hiding out in the class because he was like selling drugs. Yeah, the dude that played Hakeem from Juice.
Yep. Man, I was so afraid in the class. Like, man, one of these days.
No wonder you was so quiet.
Me out of here,
you
man.
were quiet as hell as a student.
Oh my God, man! But when that time frame came up where they can come get me from it, it happened in 2012.
Expand your culture and watch some movies,
like,
bro.
Which one was Hakeem? Hold on. Which one was
Hakeem?
The
one that got shot.
The one that got shot.
That was Hakeem? His name was Hakeem?
Yeah.
The light skinned dude?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
The only other movie I ever seen him in was that movie.
Yeah.
With Renaissance Man.
Okay.
When it brought me back to music, man, it brought me back to what I'm supposed to be doing. I wouldn't have met neither one of these fellas. I would have met none of the guys. I wouldn't be on the path that I'm on now because I would have stayed home and just would have been in the streets. But that brought me here, and it brought me on a totally different path that it would have went on if I would have stayed at home for sure.
Being like that, right?
It is another key in that story for anybody that is military and you're about to get out. Never go back home.
No,
never
don't do it.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. I was thinking the same thing when he said that. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny because I got a homeboy real close to me that I was in the service with, and he lives in this. He's from this area. And I just wish he would just leave. Where you know what I'm saying? Like, just go to another area around here, but don't be there. Because he totally reverted to somebody don't want to do nothing, man. Where's your ambitions? Where everything we used to talk about?
You fall back into your old patterns, man.
Yes.
You fall back.
Like, I just went home recently, and, it was funny because I think somebody was saying something. Because, I got some family members just a little ill these days, and I was like, what do y'all expect me to do? I got a whole nother life, a couple of 100 miles away. I mean, I could come through there and I can help do this and do that, but I can't be there every day. Or he can, he can come with me, and they ain't having that. Oh, I gotta have access to my brother, and I got, that kind of stuff, right? So somebody made the suggestion, well, it ain't nothing wrong with you having to move at home when you have to. I say ain't nothing said I had to. I was like, hell, he wouldn't let me do that. I mean, I'm talking about my father in this particular case. He was a little sick recently, but I know damn well he wouldn't let me come back. You know what I'm saying?
So, stepping backwards.
My thing is that I love where I'm from. I love the air, the scenery and stuff, but I just can't see myself getting into that same group.
Oh yeah, that doesn't negate the love that you have for your community, for your family, for your area, for your
and I'm saying that in case somebody feels like I hate where I'm from. I don't hate where I'm from. Trust, man. I have fought excuses to keep myself from moving back home plenty of times. I love it, but if I can't do this, what I do for a living now, then no, that's not happening.
And what's great about this is that the reason I can feel where Kendall coming from, because I'm going through a similar situation too, with my father being sick, and I had to go through the battle. Like, should I just move back home really quick? What I need to do so I can be here for him? But like he said, I got a whole thing going on here in Florida. I've created a new home for myself, and just being at home for the first week, with dealing with my father's sickness, I just started seeing the chaos. Like, oh my God, like so much. I ain't gonna go into detail on camera about what's going on. I'm like, yo, this is what y'all dealing with on a daily basis. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, it's like it shows the blessing of being around in Florida and having this different type of peace that I don't have to worry about. Now, of course, I'm at home. I know how to find my groove and did find my groove, and there was a lot of highlights for me being at home for that month. But the main thing I noticed was I cannot move back here because it showed the growth in me. Like being there, I was like, there's no way I can grow here. I won't be able to grow here. And it doesn't say anything about me or doesn't say nothing about the place. It's just me understanding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's almost like you realize that you were meant to branch out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I feel when I go home. I was meant to branch out further than this, and I feel like you know, for instance, I was telling you about my dad, and you know, my sister, she was calling me. She's like, "Oh, well, we need, you know, I might need some help." He's got a doctor's appointment, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. Okay, cool. So I called my dad, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna drive down there and take you to your next doctor's appointment." He's like, you don't need to do that. I got 8 sisters here. He's like, so it just like he didn't say it directly, but I know that he is okay with me being where I am and doesn't want me to come back home. Just like I was telling you, he didn't want me to work in the same plant that he worked in for 40 years. You know, he wanted me to branch out.
And you outgrew that. You outgrew the fish tank, man.
Yeah, for real. Oh gosh, it is a fish tank. You don't even know.
The funniest thing is, that's everybody's place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could be from New York City, you could be from Los Angeles, and
It's
you
a
could
fish
still
tank.
be that same situation where you outgrew that area. And unfortunately, I'm gonna say unfortunately, but it is what it is. Sometimes you outgrow your social circles. You know what I mean? Like the people that you were with, you just can't be with them in the same aspect. You still got love for them. I can be around you at certain times, but I can't do what we used to do and all that. It's going backwards. I'm adamant about always making progress.
Yeah, I actually feel sorry for people who can't get out of the fishbowl. Whereas, and I mean that from not just necessarily the fishbowl or the location, right? But who can't let go the other fish that they grew up in the bowl with. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like they keep you smaller than you could be. You know what I'm saying? When I meet a group of people and they sitting there, they're telling me they grew up with each other. You notice that people who grow up with each other take a lot of stuff from each other that me from the outside looking in, I'm like, bro, why do you take that from him? And it's like,
because it's him.
it's because it's him. It's like, hey, we've been, you know, since we were 5, 6 years old, kindergarten. And it's like, okay.
Man, I throw a caveat to that too. I understand that point, but I also see that everybody plays their positions. You know what I'm saying? It might be your journey and your goal, or you know what I mean. It might be your duty to do exactly what you're doing because your blessing is for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to help somebody else do something else. You know what I mean? Just by your presence there being there.
I get that.
So
I totally get that.
Sometimes you know everybody's journey is their own. So you know I
totally
salute
get
you and
that.
respect everybody's journey, depending on no matter what you want to do. But here's the thing though, I personally never want to ever have regret. All right. So what I mean by that is this.
I think that's all of us right here.
Oh, definitely us. Definitely us. But I'm speaking us to all y'all out there in the internets. So sometimes
Plural, internet.
the internets, right? All of y'all's. But you know what I mean? Strive to not have regret. You know what I mean? Just the things that you want to do them. You know what I'm saying? Decide what you want, make a plan, and actually execute it. Do it. You know what I mean? Don't hold no regrets because tomorrow's not given. You know what I mean? You could be gone in 20 minutes or 20 days or 20 years. You never know. So just do whatever you want to do right now. Do it.
Yeah, and I could say it from another point of view. Like, who knows what we were put on earth to do as individuals, right? But I know that when I hit Judgment Day, whoever's doing the judging, right? When I hit Judgment Day,
Judge.
I just want to be looked at as if I lived life to the fullest, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I get, it bothers me when I see somebody who's doing a regular job who has, you know, suppressed their dreams and works a regular job and all they care about or all they focus on is working that job. Man, your legacy, I never heard anybody's legacy be in the call center. You feel me? So when it all comes down to it, it's like, yo, that's not a legacy. You have to live for more than just that, right?
Oh God, I got to do it. I can't help myself. Some people ain't supposed to have a legacy, dog.
But you know what? But the thing is that the legacy has to be something different than.
Or should I say this? Their legacy may not be what you expect it to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or somebody else expects it to be.
But I know for damn sure it ain't the call center. I know that.
Well, I tell you this.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the right legacy for the person who owns that call center.
All I'm saying, well, that person that owns that call center, but he ain't working there. You understand what I'm saying?
That's because owners ain't supposed to be workers.
That's what I'm saying. And you make my point even better. Okay, that person working at that call center is helping somebody else's legacy and not their own.
That part. Well, you know what I mean? It might be your position to do that, to be the worker. You know what I mean? Not everybody's supposed to be a boss. Don't let everybody lie to you.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Some of y'all need to actually be workers. We need managers.
Hey, some of y'all need to be workers before y'all try to be boss, so you know who you need to be bossing.
Oh, and how to be a better boss.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
The one thing I
the
always
military too, though, because you have to be a worker in the military before you can even be a supervisor.
I can tell you straight up, personally, I didn't become a better leader until
lieutenants. Early officers. No. I'm sorry. Come on.
See, my experience is a little bit
different. They're in
different.
charge and they have no damn experience.
My experience is a little bit different. The reason why I say it's a little bit different because I actually trained the brand new officers. It's the Marine Corps.
So you're the reason they're like that.
No, we're in 3 different branches here. Right?
Yeah, Marine Corps different.
That is true. Yes, facts.
They had NCOs.
Oh, y'all are very different. I get that.
Very different. Crayon's different. Yes,
but I'm gonna tell you like this. So all the Marines out there, y'all still under the Department of the Navy. I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna like this.
Big flex.
But it's facts. What does it say? Department of the Navy. The U.S. Marines
y'all hear that?
are Department of the Navy.
Yes, we are the Department of the Navy, and we appreciate our water Ubers.
Yeah, exactly. We drop them off. Exactly what we do. We drop them off.
Yeah, man. That's exactly what
we ain't got no. Hey, Marine Corps don't have nothing against the Navy, boy.
Shout out to Gutty Gonzalez.
We ain't got no medical without them.
Oh yeah, because we send our HMs out there with y'all. Yep.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Gutty Gonzalez out there, man. He used to always tell me, I love the Navy. They take me where I need to go and drop me off and come pick me up. I love them. It's like
exactly what we do.
I was like, okay.
And them sailors work hard on them ships because I was stationed on the ship for about a 6-month pump, and I was like, man, they work hard.
That's a different kind of life.
Yeah, we was clowning them and all this stuff at first, and then it was during the Kosovo campaign, and they sent us in. I remember this one dude that was a cook in the Navy. He was sitting there cooking burgers on the grill. He was like, yeah, I'll be over here cooking on this grill and you about to hit the land. Like, man.
Ooh.
They showed us Saving Private Ryan the night before we was going out there. Dude on the grill told us something, yeah, that's y'all.
But no, man, y'all don't understand the fear of if something about to get to popping on them waters, because at least when you're on land, you can go run behind a tree or something. But something happened on that water. I remember one time we was in the Hong Kong harbor, and I was on watch, and thought I was tracking a buoy. Whole time it was a sub, and to see the frantic that went through the like you be talking about them new officers that they're trying to lead, but they don't know nothing. You seen all of them just fucking shit on. I'm like, yo, these are the people that we supposed to trust when the shit hit the fan. Like the actual captain of the ship, he was on point.
It was calm,
but it was all the chiefs that was on their shit. It was us,
senior enlisted,
all us. We they were just like, great job, OS2. Like, god damn, okay, we see you ready. You know what I mean? But it was that time I got to see who was on the ship with me. Like when I went to go grab my LPO, shout out to my boy Newton. Newton, he was like, he just got off watch, so he was tired. And when we at sea, we have to do port and starboard. So that means like you either on watch or you're not on watch. So as soon as you get off watch, like 5 hours later, you back on. So you only got like 5 hours to try to eat, do whatever you need to do, get a little sleep, and get your ass right back on watch.
Y'all just had 2 teams.
Yeah, just 2 teams. Until you started getting more advanced like myself. And I was a tick. So now it was, I didn't have to work though. I got a little bit more sleep. So I got like a little 10-hour little break where I can kind of go do what I need to do and chill out. But that's when you work hard. But he had just got off watch and he had to be back on there soon because he was at AIC. So he was dead ass tired. I seen him getting off the watch dead ass tired. So when we found out that that this sub was following us and we didn't know what it was on, he got up, just boom, instantly, just and we on it, like making sure everything was straight, to the point the sub left. But but in that moment we just seen so many people like show who they really was.
Gotcha.
Like y'all and it was like damn, because it gets to the point like they just let anybody put on a uniform these fucking days, right? You know what I'm saying? Just because you can pass the
funny
test.
thing is you don't even know because it's all that the test, all that technical stuff. It's like you have to, like in the Marine Corps, what we used to see is that all the cats, they used to be walking around here, they hit the weights real hard and stuff like that. But when stuff started whizzing by, them the biggest bitches. It's that little scrawny dude, you know what I'm saying, that will drag you out of hole. That's the dude. That's your hero right there. That dude you've been picking on. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Every time.
And that's what I found out that day, man. Like because I was already in a leadership position. I was already a supervisor. I already had people up under me. I seen like the sailors that was like, we here. I seen the switch. You felt the yo, we a team. We here. And I seen us lock in. I seen the officers that's been there on this road already. I seen us locking in. Like, I can't be worried about mama. I can't be worried about none of that. Like, we here.
It's a different zone.
It's a different type of zone. And to feel that when you get back at shore, it's a camaraderie that you just can't even speak on. Like, it's like y'all brothers for life after that. Like,
and the funny thing about that, how that even ties into everything we've been talking all night long, right? Is that's probably what drew us to each other.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? We all different branches, but still, similar experiences, right? And then that get it mentality, even at this point right here. Like I said, nobody can tell me that I can't do me. Nobody can tell me that you ain't got talent and you ain't got talent. If you didn't have talent, I wouldn't be working with you. And if I didn't have talent, neither one of y'all be working with me.
Factual.
Feel me?
Factual. Let me rewind it back. So for all those out there in the internets who've never been in the military, let me give you an example. So you with a bunch of your boys, right? There's about 5 to 10 of y'all, all right? Something goes off and it's time to fight. Out of those 5 to 10 people, you know who's really going to fight, who's really going to do it, and those who's going to run. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are going to tell. But you know the ones who really got your back. And those are the people you keep with you, period. That you stick with them regardless because you know you can go through anything with them. That's exactly what we were trying to describe to y'all. All right? When you come into them kind of situations and you know it's like, we got to get out of here. You know what I mean? We got to make it back home. Regardless what everything happens, regardless of what we're doing or whatever's going to happen, we got to make it back home. And those are the kind of people you want on your side. You know what I mean? You're going to have all the rest, you know what I mean? Like and I think one of the things that really locked us all in too, because we have different experiences, or we have those similar experiences, but we also know the difference between people who look like it and those who really are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who you truly affiliate with and who you rock with, because I work with a lot of people. I was in the military for about 14, almost 15 years. All right. I literally have 7 people
that you still talk to.
No, that have been to my house.
Got you.
All right.
That even same thing.
That have been to my house. I'm talking about hundreds of people that
hundreds of people I serve with. I probably
7
only
people.
talked about 3 on a regular basis.
And I still got about 10, 15 people in my phone I rock with. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got a few more, but 3 I talk to on a regular basis.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But you know the difference. Like, I work with these people, but I rock with him. Yeah. All right? Yeah. There's a difference. And those who know, they know.
Yeah.
Man, and what's even crazy is that it all leads back to when you get off course a little bit. Like I went to the military too because I was trying to find myself as well. And I left because I knew music is what I came here to do. Because they didn't want me out because I was doing a hell of a job in the military. I became an E5, which is and they was going to send me to AIC school, and they was going to give me a $65,000 signing bonus and all that. And I was going to go to San Diego to a new ship they was building that they wouldn't, they was bringing this new ship into commission and all that. And they was like, OS2, we want you to go here. We're going to send you to school first because your ship is still in dry dock because they still building this motherfucker. We're going to send you here. You're going to get this bonus. You're going to San Diego. I said, no, I'm getting out and I'm going to do music. And motherfuckers like, what are you talking about? You talking about music? And you about to get all this bread? You young, you single? I'm like, look here. I'm going to do music. I had my mind, I'm going to Full Sail and all that. But then I got home and got distracted, of course. But it brought me back on course. But that's how much I knew what I wanted to do. But the military helped me really lock in on like, this is what I really want to do. Because I'd be on watch, just writing music all day. Like I'm on watch, off watch in my rack, writing music. I'm talking about to the point we be underway. And if you inside one of the lockers underway, you can hear the sonars and all that, still trying to record music. You know what I mean?
Blocking all that out.
The first time I went on offshore in a foreign country was Hong Kong. We went out there looking for a microphone. You know what I mean? We went out there and bought our first mic. and was recording inside of this little the chart room. Bro. It's so small, you know. It's where we draw up our charts because we did navigation and stuff too. Trying to record, you know, in the racks, like it was just that serious. I said, this is what I came here to do, and I started to hone in on my craft, and I met my big brother Bland. It's 3 people in my life when it comes to music. They came in at the right time and really made me a student of music. The first one was my big brother. He introduced me to Nas, Mos Def, and a lot of these guys, and I went in and started really studying lyrics. I would go on A to Z lyrics, azlyrics.com, and print out lyrics and just study them.
Oh, I remember that website.
Yeah, and I just would study lyrics. And then I met my brother Bland, and Bland really took me down into the crates, like the stuck in the 90s sound. Like I'm talking about the music so stuck in the 90s you fall asleep listening to it. You know what I'm saying? So he put me into another chapter. Then I met him, and he really just gave me all spectrums of hip hop. Where it's to the point I had the perfect car at the time that still had a CD player. He like, here, take all these CDs. I want you to listen to Kool Keith. I want you to listen to this, Ja Rule the Damager. Like he just started putting me onto all this, but it made me expand my pen because I'm from the Midwest, and we glorify rappers like Boosie, Yo Gotti, T.I. You know, this is the foundation of the Midwest. You know, we don't really care about like the Jay-Z's and Nas there. You know, we want to hear some gutter shit. You feel me? So for me to add that gutter, like me being raised in that gutter sound, that down south New Orleans, you know, Atlanta type sound, like Texas type sound, then to add on all of that and become a student of the game just gave me so many more levels of artistry.
Different layers too.
That part.
I was just a kid in Georgia, just listening to everything I can get my ears on, man. It wasn't just the Georgia stuff. I grew up on the East Coast stuff, man. It's like, because the era I grew up in, we didn't see much Southern rap on TV at that time. You know what I'm saying? Everything was coming out of New York, New Jersey, and stuff like that. And then the West Coast popped off. So, and I was of a few people that listened to hip hop outside of our region on a regular basis and bought it too, you know. So same. Just trying to be musically eclectic. My heart is in R&B, but I love some hip hop too, though, you know. So it is what it is.
I was gonna go there too because me and Kendall really connect on R&B because like that was my first love, singing. So like I would just sit back and people wouldn't even know this, man. But one of my favorite artists of all time.
Singer or artist?
Singer.
You told me this. You told me two
Jamie
singers.
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, okay.
Jamie Foxx, because
I was about to say Lil G.
Oh, Lil G hard.
Oh, definitely Lil G from Silk. Like
but you also said what's the name from
H-Town. Dino from H-Town.
Dino from H-Town.
I always like people with unique voices.
And
like
KC.
KC from you can hear that all day, like the KC from Jodeci.
But I get what you said about Dino though.
Yeah, like just
Dino
unique voice.
Like man, he went too soon.
Yeah, he went too soon, man. I like unique voices, because I like to see the bloodline of R&B singers. Like I'm like, where did that sound come from? So when you start to do that, like I noticed that Genuine actually his sound is a derivative from Dino from H-Town. If you hear some of the riffs and stuff like that, oh yeah, all those type of riffs and stuff.
And I've been telling people about Genuine for years that Genuine sings hard, like he has a thicker voice, but he has that really soft, high tenor voice, but he sings hard.
Yeah,
he sings hard. Like you when have you ever heard in that time frame somebody with that high of a tenor but sings hard?
Yeah,
you don't see that except way back in the 70s maybe or 60s.
And if I dare say it, he has ability to be intense but soft at the same time. Like if you listen to Soft, So Anxious, you know what I'm saying? But he hits you with it hard, but it's still smooth and
smooth. He ain't screaming like he ain't got the vein in his
head. But you can feel the intensity when he's saying.
But you would think the vein.
Yeah, you would think the vein there.
Exactly.
Very unique voice.
You think that KC vein is there, man.
But his voice is so phenomenal because it came from the gut because he can still do that to this day.
He still can.
He can still do that, you know? So that's how you know he had his mechanics right. It's when they 50 years old and they can't do that no more. His mechanics weren't right. Because JoJo can't do it no more.
Yeah.
You know?
That's also that.
KC still can do it.
Yeah, but then again, even then, what you said right there, there's some singers that can still sing through all the stuff that messed them up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I saw like an interview with Alexander O'Neal. He can barely talk right, but he can still sing.
Word.
Teeth look all cracked out. Alexander O'Neal. They said that dude was a functional, but but still could sing.
Think about Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Even in his last day, he still could sing like he was when he was the young Charles, And like I just really love to, cause.
But I know why you like Jamie Foxx. So.
Yeah, cause Jamie was my ideal because I knew that I was a person who wanted to dabble in a lot of different things. Not comedy, even though I can't be funny as hell, but I knew that I didn't want to just be an artist. And he was like the first example that I seen like, yo, this guy can actually sing, but he's actually a great actor. He's actually a great comedian. Like he does all of them at a great level. Then for him to actually break off from being just a funny man and to actually be taken seriously as a singer. Because I was studying Jamie back when he was on a Jamie Foxx show. I was studying those stand-ups when he was doing
Straight Out of the Foxhole.
Straight Out of the Foxhole.
Had the piano
Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? Yeah. Girl, I bet you I can wet you really nice and slow. So I was studying all that. Here's a story. Like the Brady Bunch.
He's got the piano doing this.
Yeah. Like I was studying all of that as a kid. Like
that's funny.
It's songs that Jamie was releasing back then that people wasn't taking serious because he was the funny man. Yeah. And to see that journey, like, I'm not going to give up. Y'all going to recognize me as a singer.
It was only until he had won that Oscar for Ray when they looked at him seriously as an actor, and then he just the timing was right, and then he got the perfect person to write for him. Tank.
Oh yeah.
Like they got similar voices, and it was just like it's like Tank is writing for himself. If you think about it, right, their voices are really, really similar.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I don't know if people ever noticed this, but Jamie Foxx. I'm not saying he doesn't have a dynamic range of this guy, but their voices are in the same category. Brian McKnight.
Yeah, you're right.
Now Brian might have more theatrics with it because Jamie kind of stay in his pocket.
He does stay in the pocket, but it's not a small pocket.
It's not a small pocket though.
It's not, but I get what you're saying. He can do the runs.
Yep.
Man, I went to see Brian McKnight in person at a concert a couple of years ago with my wife, man. I was like, dang, this dude be running. It's like, I think the best I heard him is when him and, every time I hear Let It Snow.
Oh, yeah.
With him and Boyz II Men.
Wanye?
Him and Wanye just back and forth with it. Like, it felt like he belonged with Boyz II Men and they belonged singing with him.
Yeah.
Lost member.
Yeah. You know who's a slept on vocalist? I know y'all don't sleep on him because y'all grew up in the era, but a lot of these young folks need to know about him. Stokely from Mint Condition.
Yes, sir.
That is a very slept on vocalist. This guy's voice was like a saxophone, and like his range was ridiculous.
And he's a dope drummer.
Yeah, and he's just a dope musician. And you know who found them guys? Prince. Yeah. Them Prince boys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Prince ain't gonna give us nothing whack anyway. Coming out of his
he passed him over to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Yeah, you're right about that. They're Minnesota type.
Yeah, them Minnesota, that's them Naptown people. Like that Minnesota, Minneapolis area.
Yeah.
And that cat voice is very underrated. Like it's like you can hear the influences on it, but like it just has its own texture and style. Like it fits like that lounge type music, jazzy type style, man. And like to see him live, I like to study him live and see what he did with his voice. It was just ridiculous, man.
I like to say Mint Condition, especially Stokely. They were the precursor to like what was that called? Neo Soul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like their image, some of their sound, but you know what I mean? Like they're to me that they were like the precursors to it. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like it had to be like Mint Condition meeting like, I don't know, Jay Dilla.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh wait,
that's like made the baby a neo soul. If you think about it that way,
that would have been
that would have been sick.
That would have been nutty.
And me being a vocalist, like I love to see where people got their influence from. Like a great example is like everybody knows who Joe is, but when you a vocalist, you start to look at like who fathered that sound. But people don't realize that Mario style of singing was fathered by Joe's style. If you listen to their voices,
that's a really good point.
Like you can tell like that's who fathered his style.
Yeah, I never really looked at it until you said when you said Mario, and I was like, then it just made a connection with. I'm sorry, I'm such an R&B nut that I listen this intently close to vocalist's voice all the time. And me and this guy have conversations like this all the time. So next time you listen to some of these voices, see if you can see the connection. It's kind of like I'll give you a story. I'm gonna see if you catch this too. There was two singers I used to always like. I don't know why I kept categorizing them together. They don't sound alike, but their mechanics were similar, right? The way they sing, and it was Deborah Cox and Tamia. Mm-hmm. And I could never figure out why, because you notice they don't sound alike at all. But the mechanics are similar, and I could not figure out what it was. And then I found out both of them were from Canada.
That'll do it.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
It's like you don't know that you're hearing something. And a lot of people, even people who just casually listen to music, you find those connections, and it's just like, man, just crazy little connections like that. People's influences may come from a certain place or something like that, and it wasn't just speech pattern. It's something about the way they sing that is similar, but their voice does not sound the same.
I wonder if they're from like the same province or the same city.
Probably. Maybe learn through the same channels. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you an example. What I realized is that a lot of African Americans start singing in the church.
Yeah.
Right? But churches are different in different areas.
Oh yeah.
Think about a lot of the R&B singers that came out of the 90s from like the New York area. They have a different style of riffs and runs they do. Think about your Kelly Prices. Think about your Kelly Price. What's Biggie's wife's name?
Faith Evans.
Faith Evans. Think about those singers right there that came out of New York, and you could tell they came out of church. It's the way they do
Faith
riffs
came from
and
Jersey,
runs.
by the way. Shout out to Jersey.
Yeah, but close enough, right?
Oh.
I mean, close enough in the sense that I'm being from Georgia, and if I went to a church in Alabama, it probably would sound very close. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by that. I'm just saying the style of singing, you can hear that the way they do runs. They don't do runs like that in North Carolina. They don't do runs like that in Florida or Georgia. And you can see these different influences, right? Because a lot of singers we know in the R&B world, a lot of them come from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Your Fantasia, your all of Jodeci, your Anthony Hamilton, your Dave Hollister, all of them, John,
Oh, Dave was from Chicago, wasn't he?
Nah, he's from North Carolina.
Is he? Oh.
Yeah. In fact, he was closely tied to Casey and JoJo. I think he's their cousin by marriage.
Oh. We all come from the South in one way or another anyway, though.
For real, right? The Great Migration, right?
That part.
Yeah, because my people from Mississippi, but even around the churches that we are, most of all the churches are Southern Baptist. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have a Southern Baptist sound, that whole hum from the gut, type singing, that like you're gonna get that inside of our churches, like that. It's really big on moving, people, like getting the energy to move, inside of our churches. So like. That's why, you go to a Southern Baptist church, that's when you're going to see the people, catching the Holy Ghost and all that stuff. Yeah, because the music is set there to move the person. So, that's how I connect with people, with singers. Like, when I could tell, okay, this person got it. Like, if I can close my eyes and I just feel you. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to be in front of me. Like, a great example is, when I heard that young lady sing off of Raising Cannon, the jukebox girl, when she sings, whether it's with the music or it just her, just like a cappella, I feel her soul. I'm like, yes, I love that. When I close my eyes, another singer that I know personally, Maxine. When Max sings, I feel it, and it's like, I'm like, yeah, she got that soul.
Takes you on that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. I dare say that I think that's basically the number one talent that Mary J. Blige has. I mean, because
but she
no disrespect to Mary. She is not the most technical singer. She's not the strongest.
Because you could definitely tell
she definitely has the most emotion and most feeling and the most soul.
And you could tell that she did not learn to sing in the church. Especially if you remember when she first came out. I know you can attest when she first came out. She was horrible at ad-libs. Yeah. Oh my gosh! And when she used to sing live on award shows, it was like, what is she doing? You could tell somebody was feeding her in the studio. But she kind of came up more like a blues singer. She didn't learn to sing in the church. She learned to sing at the house.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you can see where she has grown to now, where we can ride this emotional roller coaster with her. You understand what I'm saying? She always gave you the roller coaster, but it's coming from her now more than a producer.
I agree. I think I love Mary J. Blige, she's the queen of hip hop, soul, and R&B, no doubt. But the new Mary, I think it was with Hello Gorgeous, that new record, man, that's the best way to put it. It's everything, but it's more of her. You know what I'm saying? You can feel these records coming from her. Even when you can, most people don't write their records. A lot of people don't write their records. But being able to translate it from you, and you know what I'm saying, and give more imprint of just more of yourself onto it. You know what I mean?
And that's something that I feel like that's quintessential. Me being a songwriter as well, me being a producer, right? I can always, like, my voice don't sound that great, but I could express it, right? And I feel like this, right? When it comes to somebody singing your song, it's like, I just need you to tell the story better than I can. You know what I'm saying? And it's not so much of you singing the words, because I can hear whether you believe it or not. I can hear whether you believe it or not. And so sometimes it always, and you know, we sit down, we have conversations about the song and stuff, and all of a sudden that can change the way people sing it, because now they understand it. They're kind of living it a little bit, you know? And I think for the people who have voices who don't necessarily write all the time, you have to be somebody else's voice who can't speak it or express it the way you could for them, right? And I think and on the production side of things, as a producer, I have to get my singer to embody my words, to embody the story, to tell the story. You are a narrator, but you have to understand it to know how to get it across. It's like, hey, go Morgan Freeman on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's something that what I've always been writing and singing, but knowing how to do both, you can sometimes get lazy. And I've noticed that one time, because I was in the studio back when I was in the military, my boy Quan, ever since that happened, it never happened again. And he was like, yeah, I heard you singing, man, but when you gonna sing it like you mean it? Like, because I just got so used to just knowing how to sing that I'm just gonna sing. So he said, but I don't feel that though. Like you just singing at this point, like, because you can do it. Like, you wrote the lyrics, you know what you meant when you wrote it. Like, yeah, I don't believe you. Like, make me believe you. And I said, damn, you right. Yeah, you know.
Remember that little thing I used to have you do? Recite your lyrics as if it was poetry.
Yeah. And that helped out a lot too.
Yeah, it was funny because you would recite things from these books that you read, and I was like, oh man, the way you express that is almost like you put importance on somebody else's words over your own, which takes us back to what you started this conversation about, right? Is whether you knowing yourself about what kind of artist you are. Are you going to be in the D League, or are you going to go to the pros? That decision ain't up to somebody else. That is up to you. You understand what I'm saying? So your words, you might have written it, and you may not see it as poetry. And that person that you're reading, that book that you're reading, he may not have saw it that way either. You may be taking it lightly. You just don't know how you're going to touch somebody else. So my thing is that if I have one chance to get my words across your ears, then I'm going to get it the best chance it can be, because it could help you better than it helped me. It came from me. It might just be derivative. I probably didn't, you know how sometimes you can write some things and it just flows out, and then you look back through it, it's like, gosh, man, I didn't know I could be that deep. You feel me? Oh yeah, it'd be like that.
Yeah, but he said something very important there. Like, how do you expect me to believe what you're saying when you don't believe it?
Exactly.
And so if you out there and you writing music, and if you come in the studio with that mindset of like, with the doubt, it's gonna show in the music. It's gonna show in your recordings. You gotta go in here like, look here, I don't care if it's reached one person. When it gets to that one person, man, they gonna feel this because I'm feeling this. You know, like if you about to play some music for one of us or anybody, and then you, before you even press play, you making excuses.
Oh, you already explaining the
song? You already explaining yourself to the song? Well, I want to hear it.
Exactly.
For real. Well, you already explained it. We good though. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, play the song. Let the song explain itself. Even if that audience member that's listening to your song only gets half the meaning, That's better. That's great, actually, because you just created a situation where there's a re-listen kind of value to it, right? My thing is, man, they say that most people don't really even pay attention to the lyrics to about the second or third time they hear the song anyway.
Exactly.
So when it all comes down to it, if I can catch you with a few words and then open your mind just a little bit where you were like, man, I wonder what he meant by it. Let me play this song again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like icing on the cake. The cake is good. But you got to the icing and you like, oh man, this icing is banging, you know? So I'm going to keep messing with this. You know, I'm going to add this to the library. I'm going to put this in the playlist.
Facts. I was a big fan of the rewind button back in the day. That was something we had called tapes.
Yeah.
So for all those who are listening to music on YouTube or whatever you listen to music on now, when you scroll back to hear something else that you just thought, man, we used to do the same thing. And nowadays, to be truthful, I don't have to do that often. I very rarely hear something that impresses me to where like I need to hear that again. Or most importantly, when you hear, hold on, what did he just say? Or what? Yo, what? When you have to ring him back, you know what I mean?
But for me, I like the Easter egg hunt. I like the fact of the matter that, man, I wonder what he meant by that. Let me listen to the lines around it. Let me listen to that again. I like that because you just really, a song just expands on you. I already like the track. I already like the cadence he's singing. Now I'm paying attention to the words and they're hitting me. And then they got double meanings.
Mm-hmm. Double, triple entendres.
Yeah, that's art.
True indeed. And that's one of the reasons why I gave you all of these records, because I grew up listening to this stuff. I studied these things. These were my textbooks. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like, you know, any good teacher or student, you know, they keep their textbooks. You know what I mean? If you're a doctor at home, you probably got a whole bunch of textbooks in there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I make music. So I got a ton of records, a ton of them, a metric ton. I really need to weigh them to see how much it weighs. But no, seriously. But that was one of the reasons why I would give you certain things, because I'm like, man, hold on. I know you can benefit off of this, because if you love music and if you love rap and if you love singing, you love this life, if you love this culture and you've never heard this, I would be doing you a disjustice not letting you hear this. Check these people out, because the beautiful thing about music is you can never hear all of it.
No, you can't.
You know what I mean? You can never hear all of it. I'm discovering people from the 60s and the 70s, you know what I mean, constantly. People that I've never heard of.
You can take something from every genre of music,
exactly.
any style of music, it does not matter. You know what? Instead of looking at music as these different categories of genres, there's only two kinds of music.
Good and bad?
Good or bad.
I dig it.
That's it. A song is a song. Really think about that, right? Mm-hmm. A good song is a good song no matter what genre it is.
Yeah.
And I believe that, so that if I heard this country song, that's just a beautifully written country song, it can be converted to anything else. Mm-hmm. That's how good the song is.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the thing about what's the word?
Transposition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're talking about transposition, and that's the beautiful thing about music. It doesn't matter the genre. It doesn't even matter the key. Mm-hmm. We can turn it into whatever we want.
Exactly.
Whatever we want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because my first introduction to music was rock and roll, because my father didn't grow up in the hip hop era. He grew up he was born in '63, so he was,
shout out to Big Johnny,
Big J in the building. So my first introduction was to rock and roll. Like, he used to go watch this older lady named Miss Makem House at night. So he'd go there with a shotgun, and we'll go there and spend the night.
An actual shotgun?
Yeah, he had a shotgun,
like a physical.
Yeah, like he was like a basically security or whatnot. And we had to spend the night over there because she was an elder. And his favorite band was Bon Jovi. Gotcha. So I used to listen to he used to love that Wanted Dead or Alive song. So he'd play that a lot. He really loved the Eagles.
Yeah, that song is hard.
It is.
You know, it's funny though, because I know you probably grew up with Bon Jovi and all that stuff there, because
from Jersey, man.
Of course, from Jersey.
I'm from Springsteen land. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, the boss.
Come on, son.
And, you know, growing up in the late 80s and the early 90s, man, you couldn't get away from it. It was in every movie. It was even in the black movies.
Everything.
Hey, how Lean On Me start off?
Hold on.
What's the first song on Lean On Me?
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah. That's Guns N' Roses, y'all.
Yeah. I know, right?
Hell yeah.
So we couldn't get away from it, and you just couldn't deny the songs, man.
Yeah, good records were good records.
Good records is good records.
Sometimes I hear those songs to this day, and I be like, man, if somebody converted that to R&B or soulful. I heard a joint, Robert Glasper did with Layla Hathaway.
I haven't heard that one.
It's a song where you remember the song by gosh, what's the name of the band? Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Everybody wants
I know
to
that track though.
Yeah, you need to hear the Layla Hathaway and Robert Glasper version.
I'm gonna check that out.
I know you would love it. I know you would love it too from the beat standpoint.
That sounds nutty. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
When I heard it, I was like, oh, this is nuts.
Man. Say less.
We're going to have to give y'all some more of this one because we definitely going to pull up on a pull-up podcast for sure and talk with my brother Kendall for sure, man. Because us three, man, we can sit here and just really give y'all so much. And I learned so much from them, from their experience too, man. And but we're gonna have to give y'all another one of these with the big homie K Dog for sure.
We kind of introduced it. We've been doing this the whole time. We've been basically just letting y'all into our life and our family. You know what I mean? Because right now, all you're doing is just meeting family, man. Get used to us.
Definitely, man. I can't wait till y'all see what we got going on with this Black Madonna project. I really love the process with the Holy Ratchet, but this one right here, I'm singing a lot more on this one. Like we did a lot of more production around it and stuff like that. It's cooking up the way it's supposed to cook up, and the beautiful thing is that we going through life. All of us are going through life through this production as well too. So all that's going to show inside of this project too, and I just can't wait to give it to you guys. So with that being said, man, before we leave the people, is anything you guys would like to share or lead the people out with?
Oh, I'm good.
Guess first. Oh no. Well, you already know. Look in the description. Follow us on all the socials. All the stuff. All the places you get your information from. Internets. Man, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's been on this kind of podcast so far. You know what I mean? Like I said, we've been introducing you to the whole team so far, giving you a backstage pass to meet all the people that have been helping us do all the work and creating everything that we've been doing so far. Just go through all the episodes. Salute to every single one of them. Salute to everybody. Matter of fact, do me a favor, bro. Before I'm gonna sign off, but let the people know where they can find you at, because I mean, ain't some things going on?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. So I'm just gonna tell y'all what's going on, and hopefully I touch on what he's alluding to. But for one, we got merch, man. We got merch. Okay, so y'all need to click the link that I'm gonna leave inside the description box. You can go directly to the link, which is www.elemento.com. And we have these pretty cool Holy Ratchet jerseys. There's a lot more to go with it. We got some women's sleeping sets with it. You know, the Elemento t-shirts and all of that. This and that.
You should get like that made into a bonnet.
Oh,
jersey go crazy.
Woo. Look at him hitting them. Oh, look. Ooh.
Holy Ratchet bonnets.
Stand by for the bonnets for sure. We got the buttons for sale as well, like the pins. You know, the Holy Ratchet pins. Then, as far as that, of course, you got to go stream and download the Holy Ratchet album. Also, with the Holy Ratchet Behind the Music book that gives you the where I was at mentally doing the production of each track, where I was at, why I wrote it certain ways, and it got some lyric breakdowns in there. So make sure you go in and get in on that. That link is inside of the bio as well. Get your hands on this book.
That's genius.
You know what I mean? Get your hands on this book.
That should take us back to like reading CD liners and stuff.
Yeah,
like
remember that?
Yeah, man,
remember that back in the day?
That's the way you could do it right there.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, bring that back up. Shout out to Lord Jim, who did all the artwork.
Lord Jim, what up? What it do?
You know what I'm
saying? If you are into, we got some performances coming up soon too. I will be performing this weekend at a pool party. I'll be flying back home to St. Louis to perform.
Oh, where's the pool party at?
The pool party is, I don't know where it's at, but I'm gonna put the link in the bio. So if you get it, go ahead and come holler at your boy and come see your boy in person. Do what I do best, and that's spread love. Back on the merch. Make sure y'all come check out the merch. Support the brand, man, because y'all supporting yourselves when you support us, because we doing it. We doing it for the right reasons. You understand me?
Aren't you opening up for the Step Brothers coming up pretty soon?
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing happening too inside the Midwest. That's what I'm going to solidify that for on this Thursday, and that performance will be on October the 15th. And stand by for dates for that. You could go on my social media and get information when it comes to that. Besides that, man, like I said, we got the Black Madonna album coming. I have the Metaphysics of Urban Living book that I just finished writing. It's getting edited right now, so I'm gonna be dropping that one soon too. A lot of great things going on right now. So just because it may not seem like we working for sure. But yeah, that's about it, man. That's about it. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
More to come.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, so this is
It's a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure. I'm sorry, we kind of got comfortable because, like I said, this is family, man. We just this is what we do over here. But it was an honor and a pleasure to have you. He's our personal engineer, but don't get it twisted. He is a legend in his own right. You know what I'm saying? The work he does is by far on par with any industry standard. And we're talking about recording, mixing, and sound design, vocal production. You know what I mean? The we can go on as far as the list of talents and accolades because the brother's beyond talented. You know what I'm saying? So, but his description will be in you know what I mean? His information will be in the description. So, you know, follow him. If you need some services, reach out. Maybe he might have time.
Maybe.
yeah. And don't forget about my boy Jeff, man. Jeff information gonna be inside the description box too. Whatever Jeff wants y'all to know, we're going to put it there because Jeff might not want y'all to know all his business. But whatever he wants y'all to know, we have inside the description box as well, man.
Yes, sir.
We wouldn't have none of this before if it wasn't for your boy Jeff. And I want to take the time before we close out to just show appreciation to everybody that's a part of this, you know, to Jeff for letting us have the space and to be able to do this, to you guys for building this brand with me and believing in me, you know what I'm saying? It's always good to have something outside of you that believes in you just as much as you believe in yourself. To all the family and friends, anybody ever came cross paths with that I experienced eventually became a song. If you share something with me and it became a song, thank you too, because I'm good for that. Because I pull from life, you know. So I just want to give gratitude for for everybody that's involved in everything that's involved with this. And to all the experiences that I'm going through now and the ones I'm going in the future and everything I've been in the past. I just want to give gratitude right now for all of that. And with that being said, this is your boy Dontez, your boy E. Brad, our special guest, K. Dot, how you want to go about it, Kendall. And this has been the Holy
Ratchet
Podcast. Peace and love.
Blessings.